Today we're going to be changing oil. What do you think of that?
I think it'll be fun.
Fun?
Well, maybe.
Maybe a little bit of work.
Yeah.
You think we'll get dirty?
Yep.
Dirt's okay though. Okay. So we're going to change the oil on this, our 2008 Ford Econoline 350 15 passenger van. Has a 5.4 liter 8-cylinder gas engine. So first thing we got to do is pop the hood. Can you pull that hood release?
This?
Yeah, pull it way back. Okay. Okay, now we lift it up. Where's that prop rod?
Here.
Yep. Pull it forward a little bit, yep. And slide it in that hole. Precisely, okay. Well, there's step one. Feel good about step one? All right, I'm gonna switch camera. Okay, so here we are inside the engine compartment. You'll see we just put in a new air filter in here just last week, so that's good. And all our fluids have been topped off. Battery's in good condition. We've checked everything. But we got to change the oil. So the new oil will go in here. We got our dipstick over here. But we need to climb under. We need to get under here in order to drain out the old oil and put on a new filter. So a couple things we're going to do first. We're going to check to make sure we have the right number filter. We ordered according to our van, and we just want to make sure that that is indeed the right filter, because you don't want to take a filter off and then have one that doesn't work. And then we're going to find the drain pan, which thankfully for you and me, this is actually the exact same engine and setup as our previous van. We've got our Mobil 1 high mileage advanced full synthetic motor oil. 5W20 is what we need. And then this filter is a Mobil 1 extended performance M1210A. So that's we checked our VIN number, we checked our engine size, and we've got our oil, we've got our oil filter, we've got some nice shop towels because we're probably going to get filthy. We've got a drain pan to put our oil in. Then we've got a filter wrench. So we have this grip type filter wrench, and then we also have this socket style. This sits on a socket, spins around. That's depending on the size and what type of filter you have, it works. We've got kind of a messy pan. We've got gloves to keep the filth off of our hands, hopefully. Can we think we can keep the filth off ourselves? We'll see how this goes. All right. Okay, so here we are under the van. Da-da-da, there's a van above us. Looks really nice under here. This van is nice. So we found our oil drain plug in the pan, and we found our filter, and we've double checked our numbers to make sure everything fits. Now we just need to get to work getting this filter off and getting the oil drained out so that we can get some nice new oil in here. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Off to work. Okay, so our drain plug on this beast is right here. So we've got the right size socket. We're gonna put our drain basin in here. There we go. Some people like to crank these things on here a little too tight, I would say. Tends to cause a problem. So there should be about 6 quarts in here. We're going to take this drain plug and we're going to put it in our pan so we don't lose it. Okay, so there's our oil draining out from here. We'll find out how much was left in it here in a minute. Okay, Samuel, we're back.
Yep.
Can you climb up there a little bit? You can see what I'm doing here. You see this filter?
Yep.
This is the filter, but it's screwed onto the underside of the van. So we need to make sure this is pretty much good and drained out. Then we'll put our plug back in, and then we're going to take this off. So we got a couple of options here. Like I say, we have our ratchet attachment, which doesn't work very well with some filters. Then we have our filter pliers, or filter wrench, which is what we're going to use instead today. Okay, so when this is done draining out, now that this is about done draining, we're going to wait till that gets the last drips out, and then we're going to put the plug back in, because putting the plug back in is very important to make sure that we don't put a bunch of new oil in here and then drain it all back out on the ground, especially on the ground. Wouldn't be any good. Sorry, we've had some camera problems, but so what we're doing now, we get the last couple of drips coming out of this. We have cleaned off our oil pan plug screw. We're going to crank that puppy back in there because you're never going to get every bit of oil out of the bottom. You get most of it out, but you want to make sure that you do not cross thread these things. You want to make sure that the threading goes in right. and that you don't do anything foolish, okay? It's very important that we not do foolish things when we're under our cars. So we're now going to switch this up the other direction. We're going to tighten it back up. Whoops, that's not good for it. Anybody know where my socket went?
I think it went into the
It did.
oil.
It went in the oil. That's the problem working with cheese balls like me, is you get dumb stuff that happens. Let's see if we can fish it out. Where is it? Here, little. Hey, well, it's well lubricated now. We have a very well lubricated ratchet. I might need another towel, Samuel.
Okay.
Careful, don't get your head too close to that. So this is still just very loosely tightened, you know? It's getting there. So we'll tighten that up, but not crazy tight. So it's tight, but not crazy tight. We'll clean that up now, and then we'll make sure it's nothing dripping out of it when we get done. Okay, now we're gonna move this pan over a little bit, because even though we've drained the pan out, Samuel, even though we've drained the pan out, the filter still has oil in it, because remember, we're on the bottom. So all that oil, it gets pumped up over the top of the motor to lubricate it. But some of it gets stuck in there. So we're gonna use our filter wrench. Try to grab around the flange itself. You don't really want to smush the filter. You turn that this way a little. Just when it gets really loose, it's going to drop. So we don't want to drop it into the pan of oil. Doing good. Crankety, crankety, crank, crank. Whoop. See, there's some oil coming out of it. Yep, we're almost there. That's what that means. Okay, let me get the rest just because I don't want it to fall.
Okay.
And it gets really messy at this point. See that? Because there was oil in the bottom of the engine too. You want to make sure all of it runs out
Some
here.
accidentally got in the driveway.
Okay. You know, take that glove off right there. Like turn it inside out. Don't touch it with the other one. And drop it. There you go. Perfect.
Oh, my hand's clean.
Yeah, your hand is
Oh,
clean.
Lordy.
You want to hand me, climb up here and hand me that new filter in the box. Our new oil filter. And this seal here comes dry. So we take that out and we put some nice fresh new oil in it because I like a well lubricated seal to make sure it seals well. That's all done draining. Can you grab me a couple of those paper towels? I'm going to clean that area off so we get all the dirt and yuck out of it. I just want to kind of clean up that area. We don't like dirt and yuck. And that old seal was stuck on there, which meant that if we left that on there, the new one wouldn't seal very well. That's one reason why we check things. Make sure they're all where they're supposed to was.
Here, Daddy.
We get all the gunk and junk out of there, because this is what filters all the oil for our whole engine. We don't want filth in there. We don't want yuck in the threads. We don't want yuck anywhere. So now we got a new filter, freshly lubricated. That just gets on there and screws right on. Spin it around so it's good and hand tight. You don't need to ratchet these things on. Alright, so we have drained our oil from the drain pan. We've cleaned that up. We put the plug back in. We have looked around underneath. We have taken off the old filter, put on the new filter with a new seal, and everything looks good down here. Next thing we're going to do is go up top. We'll put in new oil, and then we'll start it and let it run for a little bit, and then we'll go from there. How's that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? All right. All right, let's shut this camera off. Ah, where's the camera? Can you get it? Beep. Samuel, is that a hat? Is that your hat?
No, it's a funnel.
Fun. What are we having fun with?
Changing the oil.
Okay. All right. So anyway, right here is the oil fill. So we turn that way. It should be about half a turn, and that'll pop right up. Can you pull it out? Yep. So I always set mine down right here. on my battery because I always forget to put things back together. So we're gonna put that right down in there. That way when we pour the oil, we don't have nearly as much chance of spilling. Okay, so this is a brand new container of our Mobil 1 high mileage, fully synthetic 5W20, and that is what this calls for, is 5W20. Okay, so we're gonna open that jug up. And we need 6 quarts in here, so we're actually gonna fill it all the way.
Whoops, I accidentally closed it.
No, you were good.
Oh.
All right, let's open this puppy up. Crankety crank. You gotta break that seal because it's never been opened before. You get it? Hands might be oily. Can you hold on to this? No, you hold on to that. Just takes a little bit to get them off sometimes, especially when you got greasy hands. I always just run my fingernail around there. Open it up that way. That's how I tend to do it. So we gotta be really careful because you want it all to get in here in the engine and you don't want it all over anyplace else.
Oops.
Okay. I'm gonna go nice and slow because see, it goes down slow. It can't drink it all at once. So we dumped our 5-quart jug in here, and then this jug was one we also had, and this has little markers on the side. So we had about a little over 3 quarts in there. Now we have a little more than 2 quarts left in there. So that's pretty close. Now we'll let it sit in there and we'll run it a little bit, and then we'll check to make sure we don't have any leaks, and just check the dipstick again to make sure we have the right amount of oil in there. Make sure we don't have too much or too little. Let me set that right there. We'll put this cap back on, because even though we're probably not done yet, I always like to just try to put stuff back, because I know me and I forget stuff. All right, Samuel, you know how to start this thing?
I think so.
All right. We do have the parking brake on, just for safety's sake.
Which is the right
The right key for this van is this one, right here.
and which part
Doesn't matter which way. Some cars, that does matter which one goes in up and down. This one does not. Yep, so that's in.
Yep.
So now we're going to turn it, hold on. We're going to turn it forward 1 click. That'll start things, including the wipers if you got them. Now we're going to turn it, and then you turn this. You don't want to turn a key because you can actually break a key off. You want to turn that whole thing. Yep, we're going to turn it until it starts and then let go. All right, come on, driver man. So again, we're still in park. Our parking brake is on. Let's see how she sounds. Sounds good. Sound okay? Any leaks? There's nothing leaking from the oil filter or the drain plug. Those are the places you're going to lose oil.
Right.
We're going to let that run for a little bit. All right. I think that's sufficient. We're going to shut her off. Take the keys out of the ignition. Keep the thing remain with the parking brake. So we always want to make sure that we take the keys out. Keep the parking brake on, all the parking, because we don't want to stick our hands in an engine if it's moving, right?
Right.
That'd be really bad. All right, let's go see how it works. Okay, can you grab one of them paper towels?
Sure.
These shop towels are nice, by the way. They absorb a lot. What, are you catching bugs?
This is the kind of bug that was on Daddy's back.
Ooh. Is that a Japanese beetle on my back? Weird. Okay. Anywho, let's check the oil. So you got to reach up in here. See a little yellow handle?
Yeah.
There's like a little ring. You're going to pull that straight up. Yep. It's got a big long stick on it. Now we want to take that.
Whoops.
It's okay. Okay, so we have the drain, the dipstick out. It's called a dipstick. Shouldn't call people dipsticks. That's not nice. But, so here on the dipstick, you will see that it has a minimum mark and a maximum mark, and you want your oil right in that hashtag area right there. Okay, so we're going to see if it is. We're going to stick it back down in here. We want to let it drip down a little bit. Feed it down in there, push it all the way down, because you're not going to get an accurate reading unless you pull it all the way down. Okay, you can move that. Pull this up here. We don't want to hold it upside down, we want to hold it fairly flat. So that says about the medium there, so I'd say we probably could use another half a quart or so. Probably all we need. Again, I always make sure I put that cap back on. Close things up because I know me, I will make a mess. Speaking of mess, I'm a mess. You got dueling horns there. You ever blown a horn in this thing? That's the horn, and that's, oh, sorry. See down there? That's horns. They go honk honk, squeak squeak, beep beep, all that kind of
Hey,
stuff.
Daddy, can you click the horn and I take video?
Oh boy. Stand back a little.
I'm ready.
Pretty loud.
Yeah.
Noisy horn. Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what
Can
I
I
want.
see?
No? Oh, sure. So, we drained out the old oil. We took off the old filter. We put on a new filter. We put the drain plug back in. We filled it up. We ran it for a couple of minutes. We checked our oil. I think we're good. And we already took and disposed of the other oil. So we got good oil, good filter, good seals. We're all cleaned up. The only thing we did wrong was this. I slid under the car and I ripped my belly up against something. So now I got blood. Now I gotta go take a shower and clean up all this filth. You all good? Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything?
Yes. How to change the oil.
Okay. Did you learn anything about being handsome and tall and all that stuff?
Yep.
So you gotta lift that a
Well,
little?
no. I already know how to.
All right, we put that in there, and now you want to be very careful not to get your fingers in there. I'm gonna hold it up for a minute, okay? We don't need to push it down. We just get close, and we just drop it, okay?
Just follow after my dad to be handsome and tall.
Oh, you're not getting paid for that one, kid.